First of all, I just don't even know where to start with this. There was a movie that I watched, like maybe in college or in high school, and it said, somebody said something like, I feel like I just found out that my favorite love song was written about a sandwich. And that's kind of how I felt at the end of this book. Hey y'all, welcome to another video from Trolsey's Chapters. If you're new here, my name is Trolsey and I'm so glad you're here. If you've been here before, welcome back to the channel. As you saw in the previous clips, I'm going to be talking about a book that I read in the summer. You might have noticed that I was dressed kind of summery. I just happened to find this footage on my computer and I debated on whether I would post it or not. But anyway, the book is very special to me. It's a very important read, I think, and many people could benefit from reading it. So I wanted to still share about it. I could have refilmed because I'm going to warn you, the rest of the footage is a little bit rough. I had my little filming assistant who's actually here with me today. I normally try to film when my husband's home or taking her out on an errand or something, but I've got her here and she was, I think, 16 months at the time that I filmed that. And so anyway, it's a very interesting filming experience, but I do hope that you get something out of it. I hope that you enjoy it. And also, as you can tell in the video, I was very emotionally impacted by the book, and so I thought about refilming, but I wanted to have as true or honest of a reaction as I could have. So without further ado, I'm going to get into talking about Being Elisabeth Elliot by Vaughn. I hope you enjoy. So like I was saying, I liked the first part. The middle part was so sweet. Whenever it was talking about Addison, I actually cried. Like reading it, I started to tear up. And then I hardly ever tell my husband like exact quotes from books. I tell him what happens in the books that I'm reading. But I like found it and read it to him. And I sobbed whenever I read it. And I don't have it marked, so let me find it real quick. Okay, I'm gonna try to read it, but I might cry again. So I don't think this is a spoiler because everybody, well, not everybody, most people know that her first husband, Jim Elliot, was martyred. They had a daughter. When the daughter was 10 months old, Jim Elliot was martyred. And so then Elisabeth Elliot stayed there for, I think, 6 or 7 years, moved back to the States, and then found this man, Addison, who she really admired and respected and loved. And his wife had died, or his wife was dying of cancer actually whenever they met. But anyway, Valerie, her daughter, was, I'm not exactly sure, maybe 12 or 13. I think maybe just 12 whenever Addison and Elisabeth decided that they were going to get married. So this is the end of a letter from Addison to Val. And also, I thought it was just so sweet that he did this. And I know letter writing was a bigger deal then. This is dated October 1st, 1968. So it is a little bit different, like a different time. But I thought it was so nice because he wrote her a letter assuring her that he was so excited to move into their house and, of course, marry her mom, and then also just like become her stepfather. And I thought it was a very nice gesture, and the end is what really got me. So he's telling her, don't worry. So sit loose. I am really very easy to get along with. I don't plan to storm the castle, but you can be very sure of this. My arms are wide open whenever you feel like walking into them, and I shall delight to hold you in my heart. I just think that is so sweet. And that really shows you the kind of man that he was. Unfortunately, he died, and he had fought a long battle with cancer. Kind of lost my train of thought, but... Oh, my little parrot. But, oh yeah, his battle with cancer, I think it was about a year. So, I mean, that's a long time to watch someone that you love so dearly just wither away. So I was heartbroken. I knew just from, I guess, general knowledge that they had had a short marriage and that he had passed away, but I didn't know how. And so it was just kind of heartbreaking to read that. But that wasn't the worst part to me. So this book basically kind of leaves off the last 38 years of Elisabeth's life. She's pretending to tickle the dog. Is she kissing you? I don't want to give away anything while keeping in mind that this is real life and this happened, well, that part was in the 60s. And then the height, I think, of her speaking and writing ministry was like the 80s and 90s. And so this is, yeah. What I'm going to say is common knowledge, and I will hint at another part. So she was married to her last husband for 38 years. Yeah. Oh no. For some reason, well, the reason that I assumed that she was happily married at that time was she stayed married for so long. That was her longest marriage. Her first one was only a few years, like 3 or 4, maybe 4. And then her second marriage was only 4 or 5. And then the last marriage was 38 years. And so I just assumed that she was happily married. And also I read, I think it was Passion and Purity, but I'm not totally sure. I read one of her books that she wrote while she was married to him. And she wrote in the book, like what she was looking at when she was writing, like, oh, out the window is this. And Lars, her husband, her third husband, is doing so-and-so. And it never sounded like it was bad or there was anything wrong with it. But the way that Ellen Vaughn describes it and just some of the evidence that she gives or doesn't give shows that it was not a very good marriage. And so that absolutely broke my heart. I'm so sad about that still, because she had such a hard life. And of course I didn't know her personally, but her writing and her life has affected me in so many positive ways. And so I really look up to her. I really admire her. And I was crushed to find that the last 4 decades basically of her life were kind of miserable. At the same time, this might sound weird, but it was also encouraging to me that, and I'm not saying that people should fake things or, you know, act like everything's fine when at home they're not, but I thought it was interesting how some of her best writing was produced when things at home were the most difficult. And so I guess what I'm saying is, and again, I think that things at home should be taken care of first. That's what I was talking about with Present Over Perfect with Shauna Nyquist. But let's say another area of your life is really hard and you're struggling, like work. Your ministry can still be going well, or your family can still be going well. And so, yeah, it just really showed me that God can use certain areas of your life, even if other areas aren't what you wish they were, or even though they're not perfect. And so that was encouraging. But overall, I'm very sad. The last 38 years of her life only got a few pages of this 270-page book. Whenever I was reading it, I was getting closer to the end, and I realized she still had a lot more life left to live. I was confused, but then whenever the author explained the nature of their relationship, I kind of understood. But it just made me really sad. And also, I would have loved to hear more about what her life was like while she was writing some of my favorite books of hers that I've read. So I know I've said it was sad a million times, but it just really was sad. So all throughout the book, I was thinking if I could compare this to a food, it would have been a feast, like a Thanksgiving feast, a Christmas dinner, some big holiday feast where it's just, wow, that's not going to be distracting at all. A big feast where it's just lush and meaty and you enjoy it and you're full and it's rich. But then things took a turn, and so I think if I would compare it to a meal, not a food, it would be probably what you would have at a funeral, like the reception for the family after the funeral, which is kind of similar to Thanksgiving dinner, but just like the atmosphere and the air of the room is just like, all of this food is really good and lush and everything, but there's just a somber attitude. So that's the food that I would compare this to. But thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a great weekend. And if you're in the South, I hope that you're ready for a potential storm. I would love to know, what are the books that you're gonna have on hand? Whoa. You okay, baby? What are the books that you're gonna have on hand during this winter storm? I actually have one in mind, and it happens to be an Elisabeth Elliot book, but I have to go 30 minutes to the library to get it. So we'll see if that happens. But that's one, and then beyond that, maybe Narnia because of the snowy elements. But let me know, and I'll see you back here next week, hopefully, if I have electricity. Thanks again for watching.